Want beef? We rock it. We never stop. We don't care. There will be no more beef. It's all about Vietnamese. What's going on, everybody? Fung Brothers here, and you know that we like to delve deep into identity.
So we are here with Vietnamese Canadian YouTube superstar LeendaD, and you know, of course, our friend the Viet swag boy RichieLe. So let's talk about the Vietnamese identity.
When we say that we're gonna talk about Vietnamese identity, and I know that we always get this comment, people go,
hey, you guys are fake Chinese, or you guys are fake Vietnamese.
We're talking about Vietnamese American. We are Asian American.
We're all kind of learning as we go too.
That's gonna be our perspective.
Preemptively
Get out
address
there.
that.
We're trying.
Growing up, since I had brothers that did grow up in Vietnam, they kind of gave me that side of the culture.
With my siblings, I would say like they're more family oriented. For me, I'm more Western, so I'm more kind of chill about like the family customs and traditions.
So my first fact is, geographically speaking, it's in Southeast Asia, and it's a very slim country, very slim and long. Most of the people are in the north and the south.
Back in history, North and the South always had beef, and that's why they're so separated. We still have like our identity. It's like, oh, I'm Nam, and I'm from South Side. I'm Bak, I'm from the North Side.
To go off of what Linda said, a lot of remaining Southerners that were from the war were sent to re-education camps. And those people don't necessarily tell their kids about, you know, what had happened, but there are some that did, and I definitely see it in my comments. A lot of people
Cat scratching against each other.
My fact about Vietnam is that there was a lot of French influence in Vietnam because it was a French colony along with Cambodia and Laos. That's why we can get croissants and why we can get baguettes.
That's why when I'm cooking, it's natural for me to go,
That's why.
It just comes off.
Because I always kind of wondered,
All the Viet girls' Instagrams on the profile be like, Vietnamese, French.
how you guys feel about that?
I don't blame them because, you know, the French culture is a really appealing culture. It's about love, it's about cool aesthetic. Girls really like that. I would feel like guys are not so much supposed to say like, yeah, I'm like a 16th French.
But you do hear it though.
You do hear it. We were at the bar one
Let's call
time.
this guy out. He met us, he knew who we were, so we were chatting. We're like, oh, what are you? He's like, oh, I'm Vietnamese and French. And then we kind of paused for a second, had to ask, how French are you? I'm just curious. And then he goes, oh yeah, well, I'm just 1/16, but you know, I just tell the girls that because the girls like it. And we're just like,
You know that emoji, the
he wanted us to hit him with the sunglass emoji. The
yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah.
My fun fact is a lot of people from Vietnam actually look pretty different from each other because we're bordered by so many countries. So knowing that, they crossed over the borders, had a lot of and and that's why we all look a little different than each other.
Well, because you kind of get that you don't look Vietnamese, right?
Like we look different. Me and Richie look pretty different.
Do you get that you look Viet? Do people know?
People think I look Chinese more. I think a lot of more Chinese people think I'm Chinese, so they would actually talk to me. When you see someone who's Vietnamese, they kind of automatically associate like gangs and whatnot. And it's like stereotyping right away.
Well, I think it's safe to say that how people perceive you does affect your life experiences and therefore can affect your personality and your identity.
Different Asians have different stereotypes, but I feel like the Vietnamese, they have their own stereotypes too, but in actuality, there's a huge span. You have everywhere from nerdiest computer science all the way to like somebody in jail right now, geek to street.
Yeah.
My one fact is there are a lot of Vietnamese in the South, Houston, Louisiana. I was born in Arkansas.
Oh, a lot of people don't know that, but actually like restaurants like the Boiling Crab came from Vietnamese people who were influenced by Louisiana. Now, do you think Louisiana is also French influenced?
I don't know, but maybe. That's a good fact.
I didn't know you were so French, man.
Yeah, very
When
French.
did
You know, I'm like 16.
Vietnamese entertainment industry, like the music industry, is actually heavily influenced by Koreans.
Oh yeah, for sure. My nieces and nephews from Vietnam, they love K-pop. They don't necessarily love V-pop.
It's the hot
Yeah.
thing. So how can you not try to at least take influences from it and make it for your own people?
The first thing that comes to mind when a lot of people think about Vietnamese is Vietnamese girls.
Vietnamese girls, from my research and from what I've experienced in my life, they do a good job of marketing themselves as pretty and beautiful
Feminine.
and sexy.
Okay.
Oh, people.
He used the word sexy.
I don't know if this is a fact, but it seems like a lot of the Instagram models and Asian baby girls happen to be Vietnamese or part Vietnamase. Am I right?
That is true.
It
yeah.
seems like it. Right,
Maybe.
Linda?
That's true. A lot of them are like import models.
Why do so many Viet guys stereotypically they act real tough? Like a lot of tattoos.
A lot of the parents coming over from the war, they weren't necessarily focused on raising their kids the right way, so a lot of those kids had to kind of fend for themselves on the streets when they were growing up.
Favorite thing to eat from Vietnamese culture that I discovered recently was 7-course beef. I really like eating
That's
that.
a winner right there. I love Vietnamese food and the freshness. And when I'm looking for something light, I usually go for the pho or 7-course beef or spring roll.
I love Vietnamese coffee. It's so strong and it's so different.
My favorite dish would have to be bom boy. Definitely kicks you with a lot of spices.
What I like most about Vietnamese culture is just the sense of family and community. Like for New Year's, all the family gets together, like cousins and whatnot, and have like a big celebration and feast.
My favorite thing about the Vietnamese culture is we're definitely fighters and we have a lot of heart. If you think about the occupation stereotypes of Vietnamese people, they're not necessarily about being workers for other people. It's about owning nail salons, owning pho shops, so it's always about being your own boss and fighting and coming up.
The people generally keep it pretty real. Like when they talk, they're very straightforward, they're blunt. But I like bluntness. Obviously being a comic, I just like to say stuff.
As far as the people go, I think Viets, they go hard, man. They got passion, they got some fire in them, and I appreciate it.
A lot of soul.
Yeah, they got some soul.
So we're gonna go through a list of all the Vietnamese YouTubers that we know, and then you guys are gonna give your opinion on them. Natalie Tran.
Definitely Western influence. Yeah, she's from Australia, and no, she's awesome. Like, she really speaks out her mind.
What do you think about Michelle Phan?
I think she's amazing. The fact that she made a business out of it, bringing it to like America and doing that, having her own company, I think that's very inspiring.
My Chani.
Oh yeah, he's pretty funny.
He's hilarious.
Or Kathy Wynn.
She's one of the YouTubers I was more familiar with growing up. I like how she collaborated with a lot of other YouTubers, and she's kind of like a pioneer, someone that I kind of look up to.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the legendary, infamous Tila Tequila.
I think she really like made herself out there where a lot of girls are trying to like get to that level of her too.
How you feel about Tila?
Have her or not have her, I would rather have her. It's
Have
more
her
of
or
a
not.
plus than it is a minus. I feel like she is Vietnamese, she is successful.
Yeah.
What do you think about the northern accent of Vietnamese versus the southern?
The northern dialect is actually considered the more proper way of speaking. The southern dialect is more like twang to it. A lot of people can't really understand some words.
There's actually a dialect in the central Vietnam, in Hue, that's super duper hard to understand.
Hue is like mountain people, so it's really strong.
The last thing we want to do before we end this talk is for each of you guys to teach us a Vietnamese word that is useful.
Dep Chai means handsome guy. Keep that in mind, ladies. Yeah.
Or dep guy.
Dep guy, yeah. Pretty girl.
Pretty girl. For New Year's, Chak Mung Nam Moi.
Yes.
How did that
Chúc
sound?
mừng năm mới. Very
Sounds good.
correct.
I heard that thank you in Vietnamese is Gam An.
That's a good one.
Gam An. That's
Come on.
My last one would be Chào Bác, which means it's a greeting for older people.
So anybody who's dating a Vietnamese person and you're about to meet their parents, Chào Bác.
And if you
Yeah.
bow a little bit,
Oh!
you're in there like swimwear.
Ciao back. All right, you guys, that's it. That concludes our Vietnamese identity talk with swag boy RichieLe and Canadian YouTube sensation Linda D. Make sure you leave some comments in the section below about what we talked about or other issues you guys would like to bring up. Until next time, we're out.
Ciao.
All right, you guys, thank you for watching that video.
Check out this video, check out that video.
Check out the shares at fungbrothers.com.
Yo, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out LeendaD and Richie's channel right here. Gamung. Peace.